I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, and this is Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. A couple weeks ago, I took you through the equipment side of my 90-gallon mixed reef tank, and I'll be honest, equipment's a lot of fun, right? UPS comes, they give you a box, you open the box, you get to unwrap stuff. It's like Christmas. You can't beat that. But the reason we all got into this hobby was to enjoy the beauty of the livestock part, the display part of our tanks. So today, I'm going to take you into the display part of my 90-gallon mixed reef tank, talk to you about the corals, talk to you about the fish, why did I choose what I chose, and give you the final wrap on my tank. And we're going to do it with my buddy, Bridger. Nice drool, buddy. That's awesome. So, let's get started. In my tank, I have about 100 pounds of live rock. And I bought this rock dead and seeded it in my tank. I'm a big fan of dry rock, as buying your rock dead does a couple of key things for you. Number one, it's much cheaper than buying 100% live rock. Number two, it's 100% pest-free. No aptasia, no mojanos, no flatworms, nothing. You know you're getting rock, and that's all. Number three, it's much easier to aquascape because you can move all the rock around without getting your hands wet, and you can drill and epoxy it with ease. For aquascaping, I chose to stay away from the wall look or the pile of rocks look. I opted for a lot of caves. And for the right side of my tank, I chose to go with minimal live rocks so my fish could have open swimming areas. And as planned, the more places my fish have to hide, the less they actually do. And speaking of fish, in my tank I have a bicolored blenny, pink spot goby, a purple tang, a Bengay cardinal, a pair of green mandarins, a green chromis, a white striped maroon clown, a leopard wrasse, and a purple firefish. I chose each fish partly on its looks and also to fulfill a specific job in my tank. My pink spot goby turns over my sand bed for me, and he's also my wife's favorite fish. I've actually had a couple pink spot gobies because my first one got eaten by a carpet anemone that I used to have in my tank. Yet that didn't go over so well with the wife considering it was her favorite fish. The carpet anemone got kicked out. My bicolored blenny eats any algae that might pop up on my rocks, although there never is any. He's fun to watch perch on the rocks and check things out with his big googly eyes. My purple tang is one of my dream fish that I always wanted, and I'm happy to say that he's been with me for over 1.5 years, and he's never had ick. He's a member of my algae eating team as well. The leopard wrasse is another one of my dream fish. Now, leopard wrasses are usually hard to keep alive as they prefer live foods, but I got this one from a fellow reefer who had trained it to eat frozen food. So nowadays he's a real pig and he eats anything that I put in front of him. I can't say he really does a job other than look cool, but it's okay, I let him get away with it. My Bengay cardinal, well, he just hangs out and honestly he's my least favorite fish. He's not really exciting to watch in my opinion, but I can't catch him, so I keep him around. And he's great for eating large pieces of food that the other fish might reject. Now my mandarins, they're a mated pair and they were chosen for their looks, and I'm sad to say that I'll be giving them away as I can't get them to eat frozen food, and I can't keep enough copepods in my tank to keep them well nourished. I love to have them, but I'm not going to make the fish suffer, so it's time for them to go to a better home. And finally, my favorite fish is my white striped maroon clown. She's another big eater. Now maroon clowns have a reputation for being mean, but that's usually only true for the gold striped variety. My clown is very friendly and she'll eat out of my hand. I always like watching clownfish swim, and she hangs out in another one of the favorite pieces of my tank, my rose bubble tip anemone. Now this anemone came from me from John Capolino's tank, and I've traced its origins back to Bali, and this thing is huge. It split once, throwing 2 clones during that one split, and it didn't even shrink in size. I love watching the anemone sway in the current, and watching my maroon clown hang out in it all the time. It's very relaxing. Now, people think I'm nuts to have an anemone in an SPS-dominated tank, but I'll take the risk. I let the anemone get settled in, and then I built the SPS around it. Yes, the anemone could move one day, but I'll risk it. The beauty of the anemone is completely worth it for me. Now, for corals, my tank is SPS dominated. I've always liked seeing the growth patterns and the colors of all the different types of SPS, but I didn't have a great entry into the SPS world. I really couldn't keep any of it until I started running calc. I'd kill $100 frags all the time, which really sucked. But once I got calc going, everything turned around. I haven't lost a coral in a long time. My SPS grows fast, and even my Oregon tort is a fast grower, which is notorious for being a very slow growth coral. I opted to only keep SPS that were on my dream list, so you won't see a lot of common SPS out there like green slimer or purple digi. I wanted only the rarest of the rare and the corals that I thought were most pretty. And I've got some small frags, some larger colonies, and some pieces in between. On my sand bed there are 3 clams, 2 Maxima clams and 1 squamosa, and then 1 acan colony. Now unfortunately, LPS coral is one of my favorite corals and it doesn't grow well in my tank at all. Westephelias, Trichophelias, they all die. They melt away in my tank, and it's probably because my water is too clean. That's a bummer because there's some really nice LPS out there now. For soft corals, I have a Zoid garden, and I also have some GSP that I'll soon be removing. Zoas were my first addiction before I got into SPS, as they were colorful and they're really easy to keep. Plus they grow out quickly, so fragging them and having them help pay for the addiction is really easy. That's the life of a reef junkie. And of course, there's some equipment up here too. I have a Tunzi Nano wave box that I absolutely love. The wave box moves a whole water column, which means the detritus gets pushed into my sump where I can vacuum it out. I've actually seen empty snail shells get moved across the sand bed. Plus it gives a nice sway motion for my anemone, and my corals like it too. I love, love, love wave boxes, and I think everyone should have one, no matter what your tank personality is. Additional flow in my tank is provided by 2 Tunzi 6045 NanoStream pumps. Honestly, I'd like to upgrade these to get a little more flow to my SPS, but I'm scared to change anything in my tank for flow because I'm worried that my anemone will decide it wants to move. So overall, I'm really happy with how my tank has matured. If I had to do it all over again, I would have started running calc earlier, and I wouldn't have moved my SPS around as much. Because the more I leave stuff alone, the better everything does. So that's it for my mixed reef tank. Having a tank has been one of the most rewarding hobbies I've ever had, and at the end of the day, it's great to just sit and take in the tank. So that's the whole wrap up of my 90-gallon mixed reef tank. I'm Mark Callion, Mr. Saltwater Tank. This is Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. Until next time, have a good one, enjoy your tank, and know your tank personality.